Good afternoon again. Let me acknowledge right off the bat, typically a green necktie is a safe choice for the SEC commissioner. I looked down and I looked at the schedule and realized Kentucky blue is embedded in the green necktie. So I might as well get it out there because I know somebody will send me a text or an email on that. And that's okay because Mark Stoops is entering his 10th season as the head coach at the University of Kentucky. Kentucky has now played in 6 consecutive bowl games under Mark's leadership, surpassing the previous school record of 5, in addition to an overly exciting fourth quarter comeback win against Iowa, his alma mater, in the Citrus Bowl. That win gave Kentucky a school record 4 straight bowl wins. In 2020, Kentucky was one of our unranked teams in a 10-win COVID or 10-game conference schedule COVID season who went into bowl games and defeated ranked teams from other conferences. They finished at Kentucky the 2022 season with a 10-3 record. In keeping with the tradition of Kentucky, Mark Stoops is majority owner of a bourbon distillery. A facility makes William Tar bourbon. There are no samplings, so I heard the disappointment and the groans in the room while it was mentioned with no sampling. Big sales this spring when it produced a special edition commemorating Kentucky's Citrus Bowl championship. And while it's been a while since Mark's college days, I understand he can still show some athletic ability between playing golf, most importantly showing a very smooth and effective basketball jump shot during summer outings, either with or against his basketball players. If you understand the competitive, or his football players, if you understand the competitive spirit, I'm sure it's against, because that's competition. And I'm proud to introduce the University of Kentucky head football coach, Mark Stoops.
Thank you, Greg. I always appreciate you, your staff, for the support you give us this year and each and every year, and really appreciate you giving me a plug to the bourbon. I'll make sure I send a case to the commissioner's office for all you fellas to sip on, preferably on a Sunday if we get a bad call. And we have a few choice words. I'll send that over for you. Sip on Sunday afternoon. But no, seriously, appreciate Greg, his staff, first-class event. Everything they do in the SEC is always first class, and really appreciate him in what he does for us. I also like to recognize my administration at Kentucky. Dr. Capilouto, our president, Mitch Barnhart, our athletic director. They provide great leadership, great support, and it's really fortunate for myself and very rare. We've worked together for 10 years. And you don't see that a lot with that kind of stability, and it really helps. So appreciate them. Thank you to you guys. I know you sit here and I listened to about a half hour of it yesterday, and I don't know how you do it, but you put up with that for 3-4 days. But we do thank you for what you do, the time you spend promoting our sport, and really what's really important is the time you spend promoting and helping our student athletes and getting their stories out there. And with that being said, we have 3 individuals today, and they always have, they have 3 really unique stories, but they're great individuals, and I can't wait for you to spend a little time with them today and get to know them. DeAndre Square, a linebacker, a 6th-year senior, a guy that has just been a mainstay for us. Just a little quick tidbit on him. Last year in the bowl game that Greg just mentioned, we were fortunate to come away with a victory. We were down COVID guys, we were injured and all that, but nobody cares. But DeAndre was ruled out, and bottom line is he knew he had to go in. Went in the game, limping around, gets the game-sealing interception that preserves the victory for us. But that tells you a little bit about DeAndre and the leadership that he has. Kenneth Horsey, another unique story, a guy that was named, and again, thanks to some of your stories, College Football Comeback Player of the Year. he had a very serious heart surgery when he was a senior in high school and overcame that. So Kenneth is here with us, an offensive lineman from Florida. And then, of course, Will Levis and his story in the transfer coming in from Penn State, but having such a big impact in our program. Led us to 10 victories a year ago, came back, and so excited about Will. Not only a great player and super talented, but unbelievable leader, as the other two gentlemen are as well. So look forward to you guys spending some time with them. But I don't know if there's ever been a more volatile, uncertain, and ever-changing period within college athletics. And much of this we have very little or no control over as a head coach. And you can imagine that leads to some interesting times for us. However, when everything is swirling and changing in the outside world and outside of our building, I think it's more important, more than ever, to have that stability within our program. As I mentioned, going into year 10, I feel very fortunate to be here and be at these media days for the 10th time and to have the support of our administration. But those roots that we've planted, those roots that we've grown, the stability that we've had for these past 9 years going on 10 has to help us during these turbulent times. And just like anything, we will always grow, adapt, and overcome to any situation. And, with the support of the administration and the support we have within this league, Kentucky will get through it, and of course, all the SEC will. You've heard me talk about it and how we're going to do that, but each and every year I talk about it with build, select, and develop. That's what we are. We may change the narrative, change how we do it, different tactics each year, but bottom line is continue to build that attitude, continue to build the culture that we're looking for at Kentucky. Extremely important in this day and age. It goes with the next point, selecting the right players, recruiting. Again, never more important. Turbulent times, different times right now with maybe, I didn't want to get into all that, but the, money grabs or recruiting or relationships, but selection is extremely important. And then the last piece, and always will be extremely prominent at Kentucky as long as I'm the head coach, is the development piece. And we are super active and motivated to develop these young men in all areas of their life. And we've been very successful at that, and we need to continue to do that. That's who we are. The staff, I'm very excited about our staff. Made a change a year ago, really had great success. Liam Cohen came in, was our offensive coordinator, changed us from that, ground and pound physical running style, creating some shots down the field. Happy for Liam as he moved on and became a coordinator in the NFL with the Super Bowl champs. But with his success and with Will Levis and the success we had with him, we were able to attract a guy like Rich Scangarello from the 49ers, and could not be more thrilled to add Rich to our staff. Two fronts. It keeps the continuity, even though it's a different coordinator, understands the terminology and the scheme and can keep a lot of the things we did well a year ago, keep that consistency, keep that continuity as well as anybody I could have hired. And the second front is a guy that is a true quarterback guy, that has been an offensive play caller in the NFL, been a quarterback coach in the NFL, and highly regarded quarterback coach to help a young man like Will take it to the next level. And certainly, when you look at a guy like Will, could have certainly came out a year ago, but like any player that wants to be the very best is highly motivated to take his game to the next level, and we're blessed to have a guy like Rich to work with him. On the defensive side of the ball, and the coordinator, Brad White, coming back. Highly sought after, seems to always have offers, but he's been very loyal, and I love keeping the consistency with what we're doing defensively and having Brad back, along with the assistants, obviously, on both sides of the ball. And the third coordinator, the recruiting coordinator, Vince Morrow, he's been with me since day one, and really helps on the recruiting front And he and I have had the same vision since day one, and so keeping those three guys is extremely important, and greatly appreciate our staff. So, as I mentioned, I touched on Will a little bit offensively, but just excited about where we can go. We're always going to be a team that's going to be physical, that could pound the football. But where we were falling short a couple years ago, we got better a year ago, and want to continue to build on that, is with the success of the running game, is pushing the ball down the field. And when you got a quarterback like this, there's not a throw he can't make. So very excited to build on that and continue to grow. Our kicking game will be very solid. We have all guys back. We're actually 2 deep at kicker and at punter and long snapper, so feel good in that area. So all players have worked hard, had a great summer, been relatively quiet, so we're excited about that, and the guys are hard at work, and we are eager to get rolling. So with that, I will open it up for questions.
Thank you, Coach. If you have a question, please raise your hand. Allie, Lexi, and Blake will get a microphone to you. Please stand if you're able and state your name and affiliation. Coach, we're going to start in the section in front of you here, about midway back. Hold on just a second. We'll get the volume turned up for you. All right, let's go back down. Let's go ahead and go down here first, Bob.
I could hear you, Bob.
Go ahead, Bob.
Good, buddy. How are you? Thanks, Bob. Bob's making me feel old, telling me I'm the first coach in Kentucky history to make it 10 years, and then asked about how I felt about tying Bear Bryant's record with the first victory of the year and breaking it with the second. And, I really don't spend much time thinking about that. The 10 years in Lexington is something that I am proud of, because I know how difficult it is. I know how difficult it is to walk into this league with the great coaching, with the recruiting, and starting like 6 feet below 14, and then trying to climb that ladder as high as we can. I am proud of that, and I appreciate the work. However, we're not satisfied. You want to continue to grow. We want to continue to push it. Obviously, some teams at the top of the food chain in the East and the West are doing some really special things. So you have to continue to elevate your game. However, I have no control over anybody else, just of what we can do at Kentucky. So that's my focus. That's the energy to continue to grow in that area. With the record and all that, I appreciate you bringing it up, but it's not a time to really reflect on that too much. I do, honestly, just personally think about my mother, because I want her to be there, and for her to have 2 sons that have the all-time, wins at Power 5 programs, with Bob at Oklahoma and myself at Kentucky. That's really the only focus that I have is on my mother, to be able to be there and share in that moment.
Okay, we'll try it back over here again on your side.
Hey, Coach. Andrew Stefaniak, Auburn Daily. You all have been doing a really good job on the recruiting trail, and it seems like you all are keeping some Kentucky kids in state lines, and I just wanted to hear your thoughts on that.
Always a primary focus, staying within a 6-hour radius, and Kentucky is home base for us, and obviously some of Southern Ohio we've had great success in as well. But as we get better, as we win more and our brand expands a little bit, we're able to branch out a little more than we have been in the past. But that's always a focus for us.
Coach, we're going to go straight in front of me here, 3 rows back.
Yes, Coach Stoops, Drew DeArmond, WZZN Radio, Huntsville, Alabama. I wanted to ask you about a couple of newcomers to your program. One young man I was able to personally watch and then interview that you signed was from Pearl-Cone High School in Nashville, Berrien Brown. I think he could add an explosive element to your offense. And I also wanted to ask about a transfer portal addition that I had a chance to cover in high school. He was a late bloomer in football. He only played 2 years, but D. Beckwith from Tennessee, what kind of role do you kind of envision for him as a jumbo athlete?
Yeah, two different guys. With Barry on, just has all the tools. Super excited about him. Was just talking with Will on the plane on the way down here, discussing a little bit, and Will mentioned it right away how special Barry on is with the ball in his hands, and can do some special things and has a lot of juice. So we really got to get him caught up. He just got on campus, a couple weeks ago, and so need to get him plugged in and get the ball in his hands, because he's a total playmaker, and we're very excited about that. And then with D, he is a large athlete. He's a big boy, and he's a guy that can confuse you at times because he could play so many different positions. But that's the nice thing. That's what Rich really liked about him, and we liked about him as a staff, was that we could be very multiple with him. And Rich, if you watched the 49ers in the past and some of the creativity and some different things we could use with a big guy like that could play wide out, he could play some H-back, just different things. So we'll move him around.
Coach, we'll go right in front of you, about 5 rows back on the near aisle.
Alan Cole, Gamecock Scoop. Going back to the 10-year thing, there's so many new coaches in the league, 2 more this year. There's 2 second-year guys in your division with Beamer and Heupel. What do you think the key is to being able to sustain success this long in the SEC, if anything?
I'm not sure, I could control, or answer for other programs. I mean, I just really looked at what we did, and that's, continue to stay the course and, adapt and adjust when you can. I think all of us, you're going to be accused of being hard-headed at times. You're going to be accused, you can't just, you have to stay to your core beliefs is the only advice I could give anybody. And those two don't need my advice. They're doing very well. But just any coach, it's just be authentic. To me, it's just being authentic, staying true to who I am, my core beliefs, what I know is right, but then also adjusting and adapting when you have to, because for the longevity, you have to adapt and overcome any situation.
Which will go over to our right, about 4 rows midway in the row.
Coach Ike Jones with the War Report. You talked about the turbulent nature of college athletics right now, and can you express some of the concerns that you feel like you have around NIL and some of the things that are particular challenges that you've had? I think some of your recent comments talking about a lot of this might undo some of the work that you've put in currently.
Well, there's so much good. It's a complex issue, and there's a lot of smart people that are trying to work it out. I think there's a lot of good to it with the players that are here with me that help build the brand of Kentucky football and benefiting from name, image, and likeness. I think we all support that and want that to be a part of it. But I think there's also concern. I haven't listened to everybody's comments, but I know I've been in meetings, and I think everybody's concerned in the SEC as a head coach with pay for play, so to speak, in collectives and paying players out of high school and all that. I think we're all a little bit concerned about the sustainability of that and the future of that. I think that's where the concern comes in. What is pay for play and what's legal?
We're going to stay in the same section in the middle. Go ahead.
Coach Lance Dahl with Locked On Kentucky. You've got some new faces in the receiver room. One of them you mentioned just a little bit ago. Does the youth in the core cause any concern in relation to the passing game and its progression under Will Levis? Yeah,
it definitely does. We have some guys that we have to push. We're fortunate. One of the young guys came in the spring, so we had an opportunity to watch him all winter and through spring practice, and Dane Key. And he's a special young man and definitely an impact player. And you could see right away he has the mindset that he could pick things up. And then Travion Robinson, bringing him in as a transfer from Virginia Tech that has a lot of experience. We needed that as well. And then we feel like we have young guys like Christian Lewis that were out there last year. DeMarcus Harris has been waiting for his role. We really feel like he's going to have a big year. So we feel like as a group, we're probably as talented as we've been in a long time, but there definitely is some youth there that we've got a lot of work to do.
Okay, we're going to stay right next door, the same spot.
Conor O'Gara, Saturday Down South. Sankey said that you have a hoops game. Do you model your game after anybody specific, maybe a former Kentucky player or anything like that?
No. He caught me one time. I had to promote it a little bit. I had to brag because we always have a cookout on every Wednesday during the summer because I don't like to get too disconnected from the players. So what we do is, is the coaches, if they're on vacation, they're gone, they're fine, they take their time. But if they're in town, we all get together on Wednesdays and we get behind a grill and actually cook. Don't cater it in, but coaches cook and do things. And then we play a bunch of backyard games and have some fun. Well, that day, they took some snapshots of the horse game. And I happened to win. So I bragged about it, and then I quit playing. They tried to get me the next week, but I know better than that. I got fortunate one day and beat some talented guys, and I'm gonna retire that for the summer.
All right, Coach, we'll go over here to our left on the aisle.
Rob Brown, Sideline Sports, Memphis. You're from one of the iconic football towns in America, Youngstown. I don't know what it is, the water, something, but it's special. You ever thought about the 10 years you've been at Kentucky? The fans are getting as angry about losing a football game as they do in basketball. That's a big deal, and that's led to a lot more money probably coming into the program. You ever think about that? Because it's changed a lot. 2 10-win seasons the last 4 years. What's the limit?
I don't think about the first part of your question. I really control the things I can control, and very passionate about building a program that people want to come watch, both locally and nationally. And that's what my focus is, and what the next step is just again, continue to build on the good things we're doing. Stay consistent with what the good is. And where we're falling short, address them and try to get better. We've addressed some issues. We're gaining in certain areas, and we're going to continue to do that.
Coach, we're going to go right down the center aisle on the near aisle. Mike.
Yep, Mike Griffith, AJC Dog Nation. Coach, in the East, obviously, Georgia has enjoyed a lot of success. Kentucky seemingly built similar, balanced, strong run game on offense, very sound defense. How do you out Georgia to pass the Dogs in the East? And then secondly, how important was that 22-play, 75-yard touchdown drive? I know there was 4 seconds left. Some fans had left the stadium, but what did that mean to your program to punch that final play in? It looked like a war of wills between you and Kirby there.
Well, that part of it, I'm going to address that first. It definitely was just playing the game. Everybody knew if you played Georgia last year what they were all about, how good they were. And so, at that point, maybe the game was over as far as who was going to win and who was going to lose. However, our players need to continue to fight. They need to compete. We're into no moral victories, but we're into getting better. And when you're playing, the very best or one of the best, probably the best defense in the nation last year, and you're competing and you're moving the football, you're trying to get better. You're trying to improve. You're trying to learn what it's like to play the very best in the country. And that's what we did in that particular drive. But that was one drive. After that, I really hadn't put much thought into it until you just asked. But how do you gain on Georgia? I can't answer that. I just saw Kirby up there. I could maybe try to whack his knees out or something, knock him out for a minute. No, he's done a great job. I got a lot of respect for Kirby, the way they coach, the way they recruit, the way everything they're doing in the program. They're doing things right. I got to worry about us and how do I make us better. We had an opportunity a few years ago to play them for whoever won that game, essentially won the shot at the East, and they took care of business. And hopefully the next time we're in that situation, we're more prepared. That's the way I've always approached it with us. When we started at 14 and worked our way up, last year we were fortunate enough to finish second in the East. However, I think we all know there was a large gap between Georgia and number 2, and we're all trying to close that gap.
We're going to go back down to Bob, and we're going to turn up the volume this time. Bob?
Okay, yeah, that works. That's cool. Two-parter.
You just wanted to get on TV again, Bob.
Yeah. I got such a face for TV. I had a two-parter. Your brother's working on your staff now, and I guess that's flipped from, Arizona. Wonder what that dynamic was like. And then with Will, has he been even better than maybe you imagined when he transferred? What's he brought to the program? What makes him a real good quarterback?
Yeah, the first part of that, you are correct. I worked with Mike and learned an awful lot of football. I was at the Miami, the Hurricanes at the time, and we were winning a bunch of football games at Miami, and then I went with Mike to be his defensive coordinator at Arizona. I'm very proud of the work. I saw Mike take a program that was very similar to what I inherited. So that's why when I say I very clearly knew what I was getting into when I stepped on campus at Kentucky. And Mike took over a very similar situation, and I was very proud of the work we did there. When I left the last year I played there, or coached there, we were one play away from playing in the Rose Bowl. And they've never, played in the Rose Bowl in the history. And Mike did some really good things there. And we lost in double overtime to Oregon. I was just talking about that up on one of the media or one of the radio shows, and they were chuckling how you don't ever forget those plays, and I'll never forget it. We had 2 fourth-down stops to beat Oregon, and we're playing in the Rose Bowl. And so, I worked with Mike and really learned a lot of football, learned a lot about building a program, and was very proud of the work that we did at Arizona. Now he's working with me. I needed a guy with great experience. Brad White does a tremendous job, and I have great assistants on my staff, but I always look for great big picture guys as well. You need more than one. You need coordinator minds. You need multiple coordinator minds on both sides of the ball. And then with Will, you asked me if he exceeded expectations. I think that could be fair. I knew what he was capable of, but what he's done, I'm not going to lie. When I watch him at times, it's really, it does kind of blow you away. You just watch him and warm, but you watch maybe on a windy day and there's gusts coming at you, and the way he rips the football, the way he throws it, the way he works, everything about him, he's exceptional. He's exceptional. I don't worry about him and talking about him like that because he's very self-driven. He's worried about getting better. He works his tail off every day, and all you got to do is watch the way he plays the game. If you put on a film and watch the way he plays the game, you have to respect that because he cares. He cares about winning. He cares about competing. He'll do whatever is necessary to put the team on his back and to carry him to victory. And guys can respond to people like that. And, his talent kind of speaks for itself, but he has all the intangibles to be a franchise guy, at the next level. I know he is with us, and he's a special player.
Okay, we have time for one more. We're going to go over here to the right alongside the far aisle.
Hey, Coach. Steve Moulton, Wcczn from Huntsville, Alabama. What is the biggest question mark you have about this team heading into fall drills?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it was brought up. I think, we have to have some playmakers step up at the wide receiver position because we have a beast of a quarterback. We have to get some playmakers to step up and compete, and we're going to have to depend on a few younger guys there, and the older guys need to continue to step up. And then, just consistency. Anything that we've done, well in the past doesn't mean it automatically carries over. We have to go out and prove it. We have to earn it. We have to stay hungry and, compete our tail off to take it to another level.
All right, Coach Stoops, thank you for your time today.
Thank you all very much. Appreciate you.